everybody. I hope you're all having a great day out there. My week actually was a little bit light this week, so I'm pretty excited about that. That means I get to show you one of the videos I've been promising for a while, and that's hand wash, natural hand wash. And it's super easy, no cooking, it's just mixing. Oh, that reminds me. I need a stir stick. Here it is. I like to use these heavy duty, they're really big, bulky chopsticks. I don't actually like to use them as chopsticks, but they're great for stirring stuff with. So first let's start with the recipe, and this time I will remember to put it down in the description so you have exactly what it is. It's based mostly on pure Castiille soap. I like the hemp, the 18-in-1 hemp almond by Dr. Bronner's, and you can get it at Target, Walmart, a bunch of other places. You don't actually have to go to, online or anything. Natural food stores, things like that. You can find it there. And oh, I wanted to show you this. Oh, see, now I've gotten off on the recipe, so let's go back to the recipe. We start with the Castiille soap. We use a little bit of liquid coconut oil, a little bit of vegetable glycerin, a little bit of vitamin E, and water. That's it. You can put essential oil in it if you like, but I love the smell of the almonds, so really I don't need to add essential oil for a nice aroma, but you can add other essential oils in it if you want to use it for specific health reasons, or added antibacterial or things like that. Just look up what essential oils are great for that, and you can add a few drops in however you want to do it. So the things you need are measuring cups, spoons, a big jar, a funnel, and then a hand soap dispenser. So I like these reusable ones that I pick up here and there. And oh, I got some on my hand, but it feels nice. So we'll put all that together in a little bit, and I'll give you on the description the exact amounts, and as I talk you can see it. But I wanted to show you this beautiful jar. So this is my first batch of rose petals this year for 2019, and I wish you could smell it. It smells so good. So I'm doing oil infused rose petals in this jar. So we're going to have rose petal infused oil. I'm going to love it so much. Later I'm going to try to do rose water. I haven't attempted that yet, so when I get that going, I'll share it with you. Lately the weather here has been just a little bit odd. So it's funny about New Mexico. I'll talk while I'm working. New Mexico has super dry weather for many years. Sometimes we're in severe drought, but then once in a while we get a wet year, and it looks to me like this is going to be a wet year. I have a really funny story though. When I lived here in the 80s as a kid, and then I moved back when my kiddo was really little. He wasn't even in school yet. But my parents had lived here for many years, and when we moved here it was a wet year. And I just remember my little kiddo, just a little tiny guy, going up to his grandpa, "Grandpa Webby, I thought you said it was dry. It never stops raining here." It's snowing. We got so much snow that year. So it was really funny. That was the first year. So if you happen to move to New Mexico in a wet year, you're going to be very confused. But as New Mexicans, we rejoice when it's wet. We know that it's short-lived, and so we rejoice and we enjoy it, and we celebrate the water. And even the desert itself celebrates it. The trees amaze me. They suffer through great droughts, and they endure and they close in. And when that rain comes, they reach out and they get big, and their limbs go out, and their leaves are happy and they're full and bright. It's just like the cactus. The cactus, will endure greatly, and they'll just close up in times of great drought, and they won't blossom because they're conserving that energy that they need. And then when all the rains come and we have a wet season, they bloom beautifully with those bright yellow and purple flowers. And I just love that as a metaphor for life. That's what I try to do when I'm suffering. I just try to conserve the energy, and when life gets good, we blossom. And that's because we were conserving. So that's my metaphor of New Mexico for today. So I'm making a double batch today because I like to keep extra around. So it's going to take 2 cups of water, and I put it in this big jar just to keep it, and then I transfer it to where I need to transfer it. So then we're going to do 1.5 cups of the Castiille soap. That is next, which actually I need to do 3 cups of, and I just realized I just don't have enough, so I'm going to have to cut back my water in here. See, this is the problem. I think I plan, I think I'm organized, and then I find out I'm not. But you know what? It's okay. I'm going to be happy no matter what. All right, so we're going to go back to the 1 cup of water. That's why it's good. I'll be writing this in the description for you. And then 1.5 cups of Castiille soap. And then we need 1/2 cup of this vegetable glycerin, which you can find, you know, online or soap making places. You can find it, I know you can find it at Hobby Lobby because they have a nice selection of soap making stuff now. And this is vegetable glycerin. So I'm going to put that in there. That's 1/2 cup. And then, really simple, next is a tablespoon of vitamin E, which I know this sounds kind of strange, but that way it's not harsh on your hands. And then a tablespoon of the cooking oil. So yesterday I put up a video of how much rain we were getting and cold. It was like 47 degrees, which is cold for us. I'll have to show you a video of the actual piece of plywood that flew over my fence. It was crazy, really. I mean, that's normal. We get a lot of wind, but I've never had a huge piece of wood fly over my huge fence. So that was a new thing for me. Okay, so now you get it all in your jar, and you just give it a good shake up. You want to make sure it mixes, and you know, you can get your stick in there, your chopstick in there, because that gives it a nice mix. You don't want it to separate too much because you want it to work. But once it's, you know, blended, you don't have to keep shaking it or anything. It stays blended. Oh, I forgot need my funnel back because we're going to put it in. That doesn't quite fit. So we're just going to hold it like that. And we're just going to put it in our container. And that lasts, you know, a long time. I'd say a month or 2. Depends on how much you use. You need every day. But it's a really nice, soft thing. A long time ago, you know, when my kiddos started having a lot of problems with chemicals, I had a lot of trouble trying to find a good hand soap. And before I started making stuff, what I would do is just throw some dish soap in a container with a little bit of water and make that as a hand soap. But it can be pretty harsh on your hands. So this, you know, after I got figuring out how to make my own stuff, I do this sort of thing. So it's so much better. And then you just pump it out, and it's a real clear, and it smells fabulous. If you like almond, which I do, I love this stuff. It's perfect. If you don't, then get something else. They have a lavender one, and they have a rose one, but it doesn't smell very rosy. So you could add some other essential oils to it as a carrier, and it would absorb those essential oils really well. So, but that's it. See how simple that was? Didn't even take us 10 minutes, and I talked half the time. So it's a really easy, simple way to have a real natural product, and it's not super expensive. You know, this whole container costs $10, or at least it did for me, and I only used a cup and a half of it. So I would say this probably makes three batches of it. And then, you know, only a tablespoon of your coconut oil, which is, you know, it's not super cheap either, but it's just a tablespoon. So it's hardly anything. And the vitamin E is very inexpensive, and water, you know. So that whole batch would cost you far less than just buying it in the grocery store, whether it was fragrance free or not. And they're very hard to find. So, and the glycerin, that's, let's see, that was $9 for this whole container, and then I used a 40% off coupon, so it was, you know, $7, something like that. And it has already made 2 batches, and there's at least I'd say about it's made 3 batches now. So, and there's about 4 more batches left in it. So like I said, you know, I'm not good at math. I didn't figure it out before I started this, so I can't tell you exactly how much this large container costs. But I do know it's not expensive at all. I think, you know, when you do your own natural stuff, it can be a little overwhelming because your supplies that you need to buy are costly all at once. That's the problem. You can't go and say, well, I only want a cup and a half of this, but you have to buy the whole thing. So what I did when I first started, because it was overwhelming to try to start the whole household of products, you know, buying essential oils and different soaps and things, it does add up. Like the laundry detergent that I make, when you buy all of it together, it does seem a little bit expensive, but when you think about how much you use of that product, it's way cheaper in the long run. So like my laundry detergent, I've talked about it before, cost me $1 a month. I can't beat that, but you do have to buy all the products together to make that work. So what I started to do is I focused on one product that I was going to do, and I was experimenting on the laundry detergent. That was my first thing, and just got rid of everything else. And then I started doing the sprays and things like that, because that was really quite inexpensive. The cleaning spray, all I had to do is buy a real cheap bottle of vodka, water, and I already had some dish soap, and then the essential oil. So I just got one type of essential oil. I just started with lavender, and you only use a few drops of it. So then the next month I bought the bergamot, and the next month I got the lemongrass. That's one of my favorites, and the orange. So I just added to what I had and built that up. And it's the same with something like this. You know, 1 month maybe I'll buy this soap, and then 6 months later I'll get the glycerin. And the vitamin E I really only buy once a year because you really don't use that much of it. But that's how I adjusted to the point where we are completely, except for, I have to say, there are a few things that, like my husband, he won't go with the natural deodorant, so he goes with the least offensive one. And then there's shampoos that I've found frustrating. I don't make my own. I do look for that in different places. And there's a few companies that you can get different things from that work pretty well. And body wash, that's another issue. Making it myself, I haven't found it to be financially viable. I have found a few that are inexpensive and they don't have all of the seriously offensive things. But everything else in our life is completely made by me, as far as cleaning products, body products, hand wash, that sort of thing. And I think there might be more that I'll be doing in the future, but I'll be doing more of the other stuff. My favorite things are lotions and balms, especially now that I'm doing oil infused stuff. Oh, it took it to a whole new level. It's fantastic. Anyway, I guess I was very chatty today. Sorry. I hope you're all having a great day out there, and in New Mexico will warm up soon, but I think we had a wet winter, and it looks like we've had a very wet spring. We might have a wet summer this year, and so we're going to enjoy that while it lasts, and it's still pretty dry compared to other places. So, y'all have a great day, and I'll see you soon.